I never expected one of the scariest stories I've ever heard to come from a police officer. A few years ago, I met up with my old friend Hank. We hadn't seen each other since high school. Back then, he was the funny guy in our group, but now he was a police officer. We decided to grab a few drinks at a local bar and catch up. At first, we talked about old memories, but then the conversation turned serious. I asked him what the worst thing he'd ever seen on the job was. The smile disappeared from his face. He took a long drink and said, "You really want to know?" I nodded. Hank told me that 3 years earlier, he was working a normal daytime traffic stop. Nothing unusual. The driver seemed nervous, but that wasn't uncommon. As Hank approached the vehicle, he noticed a strange smell coming from the trunk. He asked the driver to open it. The man refused. That's when Hank called for backup. When they finally opened the trunk, they found something that haunted him forever. Inside were human body parts wrapped in garbage bags. A dismembered woman. The driver suddenly bolted. Hank chased him through neighborhoods, backyards, and alleyways. But somehow the man escaped. What followed was a 3-month manhunt. Then investigators discovered the suspect's house. What they found inside was worse than anything in the trunk. A hidden room. The walls were stained, chains were attached to the floor, and investigators found evidence that multiple women had been tortured there. More dismembered victims were eventually discovered. Hank told me hardened detectives needed counseling after seeing that room. For 3 months, the suspect stayed hidden. Then one morning, police finally tracked him down hundreds of miles away. He was arrested without a fight. The case made national headlines. When Hank finished telling the story, neither of us spoke for a while. The noise of the bar seemed distant. I could tell that even years later, the memory still haunted him. Before we left, I asked him one final question. What was the scariest part? Hank stared into his drink. Then he quietly said, "The traffic stop happened in broad daylight. Cars were passing by. People were walking around. Nobody suspected anything." He looked up at me. "What scares me is knowing how many monsters can hide in plain sight. And sometimes I still wonder, how many of them are out there right now, waiting to be discovered?"